Welcome to the Raised with Jesus podcast, 10 minutes every day with life where Jesus meets yours. You've got your daily Bible reading for today, and today we are looking at Ecclesiastes chapter 12. We're concluding the book of Ecclesiastes. Here goes. So remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the bad days come, and the years arrive when you say, I have no delight in them, because the sun and the light of the moon and the stars are darkened, before the clouds return after the rain, before the days when the watchmen of the house tremble, and the strong men are bent over, and the women who grind grain cease because they are few, and those watching through the windows can barely see. Then the double doors to the street are quiet, as the grinding of the mill grows quiet. A person wakes up at the sound of a bird, but all the sounds of music are muffled. Then they fear heights and terrors along the road. The almond blossoms become white, the grasshopper drags himself along, and the caperberry has no effect. Why? Because the man is heading to his eternal home. Then the wailing mourners will go around in the street. Remember your Creator before the silver cord is snapped, and the golden bowl is broken, before the jar is shattered by the spring, and the water wheel is broken by the well, and the dust goes back into the ground just as it was before, and the spirit goes back to God who gave it. Nothing but vapor, says Ecclesiastes the speaker. It is all vapor. Besides being wise, Ecclesiastes taught the people knowledge, and he weighed, collected, and arranged many proverbs. Ecclesiastes searched to find just the right words. What was written was honest. They were true words. Sayings of wise men are like cattle prods, and those sayings collected by experts are like firmly fixed nails, given by one shepherd. My son, beware of anything in addition to these. There is no end of making many books, and much study wears out the body. This is the conclusion of the matter. Everything has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments. For mankind, this is everything. Yes, God will bring everything that is done into judgment, including everything that is hidden, whether good or evil. This is the word of our God. And with these words, Solomon concludes the book of Ecclesiastes. And the chapter division here at chapter 12 is a little bit unfortunate, because some of the themes, the two major themes that he takes up in this chapter, were things that he introduced early in chapter 11. Chapter 11, verse 5. Solomon had talked about, as you do not know the path of the wind, or how a body is formed in a mother's womb, so you cannot understand the work of God, the maker of all things. And the encouragement, if you look at chapter 11 and 12 kind of together, is to, in chapter 11 especially, and at the beginning here of chapter 12, to remember your Creator in the days of your youth, to remember your Creator when you are in the prime of life, to remember your Creator before the old age kind of sets in, and before things start slowing down and breaking down. And then the other aspect from chapter 11 that it kind of pulls in is that there's no avoiding the judgment, which was mentioned in 11 verse 9, when he said, Be happy, young man, while you are young, and let your heart give you joys in the days of your youth. Follow the ways of your heart, and whatever your eyes see. But know that for all things, here it is, God will bring you into judgment. The judge to whom the young man also must answer, for the way he rejoiced in life, is none other than the Creator, because the creatures made for that, creatures you and I were made for this wonderful communion, fellowship with our Lord. We answer before him, and we will one day return to dust. And that image of the slow return to dust is basically what we have here in chapter 12. Solomon paints for us this picture where everything is slowing down, everything is breaking down, and verse 1, where he said, Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the bad days come and the years arrive when you will say, I have no delight in them. And then he kind of pictures for us this painting where life is slowing down and winding down and breaking down. And he kind of concludes in verse 6, Remember your Creator before the silver cord is snapped, the golden bowl is broken, before the jar is shattered by the spring, the water wheel broken by the well. And so what is Solomon saying here? That for the Christian, for the believer, you have insight that the unbeliever does not. That the unbeliever, if they were to look at the world honestly, they would recognize that there is no actual progress, that there is only vapor in this life, and what has been done will be forgotten and has been done before. But for the believer, there is lasting value in remembering your Creator in the days of your youth, There's lasting value in a life lived with the Lord, even if the outside observer doesn't see that value. There's lasting value in learning to know your Creator and living life according to the way He has designed it. That is to say, with vocation and carrying out your specific duties and not concerning yourself with things beyond you. There is the recognition that the believer knows that even if there is injustice in this world, and there certainly is, that the Lord will set it straight at one point, at one time in the future. And there's the understanding that we don't have to busy ourselves thinking and wishing and hoping and waiting for a better time, a better place, waiting for that vacation, waiting to be somewhere else. We can busy ourselves with what our Lord has given to us today, the task that He has given us to focus on, and the people that He's given us to care for. That's vocation. That is paying attention to what God has given to us today, rather than wishing for what we hope we will receive tomorrow. Because Ecclesiastes chapter 12 paints for us this picture that, yes, all things slow down, all things come to an end. Even the vigor of youth will eventually disappear. But for the Christian, there is blessing and benefit in looking ahead and recognizing that those days will come, and to remember our Creator in the days of our youth, that we may use the time that we do have here profitably for the good of the Lord, for the benefit of His kingdom, for the furtherance of the gospel, for carrying out the duties that God has entrusted to us, that we may enjoy the blessings, the benefit, the activities, and even the hardships that are ours during this life of sin and death and sorrow, in a life of in a world of sin and death and pain. But during this life, God also provides joy. God also provides activity. God also provides work that is for our good. And God provides the knowledge that there is lasting value. It is not to be found in chasing pleasure or wisdom. It is not to be found in chasing the things that the world chases. But the lasting value is with your Lord. And so you can go about your day with joy, knowing that your Lord watches over you, that your Lord has given you tasks to carry out, and that the work that we carry out in service to our God, whether that is, service within the church or going about and caring about the daily vocations of your tasks, such as Martin Luther talked about once, the glorified vocation of changing a baby diaper being far better than the self-chosen activities of the monks and the nuns doing their silly prayers in the monastery or something like that. And that's a good attitude to have, in a sense, that my Lord has given to me the time of my life to bring glory to Him by carrying out the task that He has given to me. And my Lord will provide joy in those things, even if I don't have everything that the world would consider to be successful or even necessary for coping with this world, really. And I have my Lord. I have the tasks that He has given to me, and I can find joy in them. I can find joy in a balanced and contented life. I don't need to be constantly wishing and waiting for something else, for a bigger break, for a time away, to be at a different time or a different place or a different age. Don't need to be wishing our days away, because this life does pass quickly. So remember your Creator in the days of your youth, and take pleasure and take joy in what He has given to you. With the sure knowledge that what He does through His Word will last forever. Thanks so much for joining us here at the Raised with Jesus podcast. Tomorrow we get into the Gospel of Mark. And as we conclude today, just a reminder that every Saturday has 2 episodes. The Thirsty episode from Pastor Zarling, Pastor Leighton, that's one of my personal favorites, as well as our Saturday series, where we have a series of episodes week by week that cover a particular topic. We're almost to the end of our current topic on depression. We will have an interview on the first Saturday in February with somebody from Christian Family Solutions to talk about it in a professional way. And then we're going to have a 3-part interview that I had with Professor Mark Paustian for our next series, Questions People Ask, talking about apologetics, talking about doubt, and talking about what questions you might have. And I have gotten a few of those. If you do have any questions to submit for that series, anonymously, of course, feel free to contact the podcast. Go to raisedwithjesus.com/podcast, and you can use the form there. I know you have lots of options. Thanks so much for joining us here for a few minutes at the Raised with Jesus podcast. God bless your day.